from the European Commission's Digital Futures team. We're running a 2-year foresight project on the world in 2050. We will use the findings to look back from the visions of 2050 to our own times in order to improve policy making for 2020. Digital Futures seeks to capture visions of how the future will be in 2050 from many different stakeholder groups. We want to involve up to 10,000 stakeholders before we conclude in late 2013. In June 2012, I learned that a group of young German pirates would visit the European Parliament, so I arranged an interview. Pirate parties are on the rise in Europe. They won 11% of the vote in the recent German elections, and concerns over the impact of intellectual property rights, copyright, on civil rights are one of their major concerns. We kicked off with a question on digital rights management systems. DRM systems prevent multiple copies of works protected by copyright from being made, but they can affect the user experience by, for instance, preventing people from moving content they have brought from one device to another. I'm trying to develop policy in this area, so I was keen to learn what reasoned views the pirates have about DRM and the policy dilemma that it raises.
Should we lean towards the artists on DRM and support that solution, or should we rather more say that we want to have that information should be freely movable around when you buy an ebook file, and that actually people will not in general post these files up onto peer-to-peer networking sites. So which side would you think? Would anybody like to start off on that?
Yeah, because there will be no balance, because we will set up a legal framework for businesses to run, and then there will be business models which can work with legal file sharing and with free sharing of files. So there are systems like Netflix or flat rate models which are working in the current market with the legislation we have in the US or in Germany with Spotify, which is an online streaming service. And there will be business models which can work with file sharing. So we don't need to legislate money for artists, because when I want to support my artist or my creator, then I will find a way to pay him.
Okay, so this is the point about the music. You go to the concert, but you don't necessarily pay for the music. We've got another comment at the back.
And I think it doesn't have to be the conflict what you were talking about, yeah? I mean, is it really a big problem when it is easier to share it, to copy it, to give it to others? I think that is something where that can be good for the artists, for the because it's easier to share them, more people can know about their things and have a look at it easier. And I think what would be better and what we need is another culture of payment, yeah, so that the people, when they like what they read or hear or whatever, that they give something to the author. I think that is the best way how we could do it, and so I wouldn't say that that is the conflict which exists. It's that the people get into their heads that when they like something, it's important that they pay the people for it. But not, that doesn't work on when you swing, I don't know. It doesn't work when you force the users with digital right management or something like that. That's the wrong way. You have to bring them to the point where they do it by themselves.
Okay, that's a good comment. So you were going to say something anyway,
yes,
about digital rights.
Just a normal comment though, nothing fancy. I think that before you think about the conflict that the artist will not benefit, is that the whole system of digital rights management is actually helping the artist to get their share, because I think the general impact of this is mostly that not that people will can't. First of all, it pisses people off because they can't really use the stuff they bought. Secondly, it doesn't disable them to share because they can just pirate it. I mean, they can buy it and pirate it or just pirate it. In any way, it is very much. It is easier to just pirate the stuff. So, I mean, it's already easier because they don't have to pay. But this way, it's getting way more easier because. They don't have to mess around with things, and they don't have to worry. Will it work on another device, or will it work tomorrow, or will they just, I don't know.
So this is making the legal offer very easy, so that actually people don't have an incentive to go for the pirated stuff. Yeah,
I think it's the opposite. Digital rights management makes it so that people don't really want the legal offer. They think it's worse than the pirated one, not because of the price, but because they can't use it, and they're like being it's like fraud or something. It's a hard word, but yeah. So I think that before you think that it's bad for the artist, you should think about whether it really helps, because I don't really think that it keeps people from pirating if they can't use the stuff they're buying. It just...
Yeah. I mean, is it keeping honest people honest, or is it just pissing people off and driving them towards illegal, free and services, but not free services, I mean illegal peer-to-peer.
I mean, there have been cases where people who sold things that used digital rights management actually told persons who had problems with operating the things they bought because of the digital rights management to just pirate it, because it is easier than to make it work with the DRM system. And I mean, seriously?
Yeah, okay.
In the Pirate Party we have a saying, don't try to fix social problems with technical means. I think DRM is a way of trying to push the legislation to be automatically executed through, well, basically preventatively through technology, and that's not going to work. If you have a law, then this law must be reasonable enough to the majority of people to follow it because they think it's the right thing. But you can't try to just make it work automatically, because it has unintended consequences to the point where really the quality of the illegal product is just so much better than the quality of the legal product.
Thanks to Julia Rader for facilitating this interview from the pirate side, and catch up with the young pirates in other clips from this interview as we move from today's issues to 2050. Join us at the Futurium meanwhile, details to follow.